The age of the electric eye continues to get more and more dark. Keeping tabs, tracking us, tracing us, wanting to lock us in prisons of electronic nature. They are definitely doing science fiction, to say the least. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Zach, the WretchedWatchmen, bringing you a little news of what's going on in Switzerland, along with the kids and schools and electronic tracking and all that jazz and everything, jazz hand stuff. Don't know why I did that, but we did anyways. All right. So, but yeah, we're going to be taking a look at what's going on with Switzerland and the electronic tracing program that they're trying to install, which not trying to, they're installing when it comes to primary schools out there, elementary schools and whatnot. It should come as no surprise, at least if you watch my channel or some of the other channels going out there, whether it's news, alternative news or things going on in the prophetic watcher realm of things, that they're trying to lock us in an electronic prison. When it comes to the Internet of Things and the Internet of Bodies, they're constantly trying to keep tabs on us. They're trying to watch us not only from, outside physical level of where we're going and what we're doing and all that type of stuff, but they're trying to get down deeper into a cellular level, even mind level of our thoughts and what we're seeing and everything like that. And so it should come as no surprise that they're going to be doing more and more when it comes to kids. Now, we see it all over the world. We got stuff all over in different school districts here in the United States where they're doing things like biometric cameras and scannings and keeping tabs on stuff. China, we understand that they've got that stuff going on over there as well, very similar to ours, some of it more in depth than what we see here in the United States. Australia is doing their stuff where they're turning the entire continent of Australia into a spy state. Canada's doing the same thing. Europe's doing the same thing. All over in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, India, and all that stuff. Even South America and stuff. They're doing all this as well. So it should come as no surprise that they're trying to do this all over the place. Whether it's the actual work outside, in the home, type of stuff, as well as connecting the Internet of Bodies to the Internet of Things, keeping tabs on a more deeper cellular level. And so here in Switzerland, they're talking about doing these electronic bracelets that are basically like prison bands. When the kid walks into school, even using it in home, it will keep tabs of where the kid is at, different information about the kid's lifestyle and social profile, and all this type of stuff. It ain't good. So let's take a look. The school to use remote tracking wristbands on children. This is coming from The Hedge. It says a school in Switzerland has controversially announced it will trial tracking wristbands on children to keep tabs on their location. It's highlighted by Remix News, Swiss outlet Nursaker Zeitung. I don't know. Best I got. Reports that the Letten After School Care Center in Bermensdorf will require kids to wear the Bluetooth tech at all times during care hours unless parents specifically opt out. That's always the trick there. Well, it's not mandatory. You just have to make sure you opt out. Otherwise, it will be mandatory. They always have these little trick, sneaky way of doing things. Goes on to say the wristband will track the wearers, with staff being alerted should a pupil wander outside the sanctioned location without prior authorization. The justification given for the tracking is that the number of children in the facility is always changing, and that is necessary to provide high quality care. It's fascinating because it says the justification given for the tracking is that the number of children. I think this has double meaning. Number of children as in how many children are there, but number of children as in we're just numbers to these people in their system. So it's not written with double meaning, but I certainly read it as such because both are true in this case. And it says the report also notes that important individual information about food intolerances can be stored in the system for the children to make check-in at lunch easier. So it's all for your convenience and safety. And that's always what they bring along with this technology. It's for your safety. It's for your convenience. It makes life easier, and it's to make things more secure. It's always that. And of course, they go with food intolerances. So health. What's the biggest fear out there in the world? Healthcare. That's why they use it so much for this stuff. The report notes that the tracking system was developed by head of Education Center Joel Geiger, something like that, as part of a startup called Companion. Theo School administrators, I can speak English, I promise, stated Bermansdorf School can gain new insights through the pilot project and at the same time offer the company the opportunity to test the product together with specialists on site as part of the pilot project. Sounds like the guys using school kids as guinea pigs for the Big Brother surveillance side hustle. Absolutely. Swiss Cantonal Data Protection Authority spokesman. Wow, I got through that. Hans-Peter Waltisberg notes that a permanent localization of pupils does not seem necessary for the care of children. It should be examined whether a Bluetooth wristband is the appropriate means of localization. For example, the fact that a wristband can also be removed must be taken into account. Oh, but they are taking that into account. Oh, yes. How do we know that? Well, we read in scripture that mark of the beast. Yeah. Once you take it, it's it. That's it. No, this is not the mark of the beast. Don't even try. I know there's going to be somebody in the comments right now going, Richard Watchman says that the school in Switzerland said the mark of the beast, the wristband did it. No, I didn't say that. I see you. I know what you guys do. Okay, back to this. It says, similar technology is used to literally keep tabs on parolees or convicts released in the I think that's supposed to say provision. There's no N. Provision of good behavior. If the educational center wants to become known as the school that treats children like prisoners, it's going about it the right way. To be fair, most schools are now getting that report card anyways. So it should come as no surprise that they're going to be doing that either. So we're seeing here, this is about getting as much detail and information on the kids as well, keeping tabs on their location, social profile, what they're doing. I'm sure that there's other programs and technology that they're getting ready to introduce, or they're adding it to that technology that's already in use. They're all ramping up this type of stuff. We see, again, these tracking bracelets and stuff here in the United States, over in Europe and in Canada and other places as well. They're all doing the similar stuff as well. So let's head over to the Swiss news outlet that reported about this as well. Using my handy dandy Firefox translation, I managed to get it the best it could over to English, but I want to point out a few things. Coming from NZZ, says the primary school will continue with a tracker education so that they can be monitored. Says, but then it came down to what it was in itself. The school wants to offer a digital solution. The children in their home can have a magnetic bracelet with a Bluetooth system with their personal support, can be used in their home or with their child. This means that your personal information is of the utmost importance to your child's enjoyment, according to the newspaper Le Temps. So basically what they're saying is this wrist bracelet can be used in school and in the home as well. Again, the translation thing is doing its best to translate. So hang with me. This is the technology and the equipment for the tracking system loved by the head of the Hortz Letten, Joel Geiger, something like that himself. I've been involved in a startup with the names of partners and initiated a project in Bermansdorf. The signet of the company is also shown on the school's message, which is available at the NZZ. It says it is up to parents whether they want their child to participate in the project or not. However, they have to actively deregister their children. So like we read in the Hedge article, they're just going to put this into play unless you actively deregister. Now, how many parents don't know about this yet? That's the other little slimy trick that they like to do. They'll hide that information in a little brochure thing, or they'll tell the parent like a day ahead of time, or they rely on the kid to bring the information to the parent. They use that slimy tactic in order to get as many people forced into it as possible. So what's going on there? What's the tactics there? I'm not sure, but wouldn't put it past them to do such things like that. Anyways, it says tracking systems for children are not a reinvention. No, GPS devices with their parents can locate the offspring at any time, can be ordered on the internet with a single click. It's all over the place, and a lot of governments are starting to bring in some policy that might make this mandatory in places. Yeah, just check of what's going on with that. The number of such portable devices, also known as wearables, has increased significantly in recent years. Yeah, that's the translation thing. But it has, because this is part of the Internet of Bodies. Now, the Internet of Bodies, I know there's still some confusion on this. Is it something that goes in you? Is it something that goes on you? The fact is, it's anything that connects to your body that contains or retrieves some of your data and sends it back to the Internet of Things. So that could be something in you that's sending that data back, or it could be something that you're wearing. Something like a Fitbit is part of the Internet of Body because it's reading your data, your health data, and sending it to a network. And it's working that way. So it's a piece reading your data and sending it to the Internet of Things. That is considered part of the Internet of Bodies. And so something like this that contains data that is actively being sent to the Internet of Things is part of the Internet of Bodies. So this does match up with that. The biggest thing is they're just working on making these more invasive and more you can't get rid of them type of thing. As we know, that's what the mark of the beast will eventually be. So when we see this progression of the Internet of Bodies things, wearables that connect to the Internet of Things, then we understand that this is on track for what Bible prophecy tells us will happen post-rapture into the day of the Lord. And yeah, just be wary of that. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. It says the fact that a school is now relying on digital surveillance is rather unusual. A case from the Lucerne community of Kriens is known. This city equipped first graders with a GPS tracker to find out where the dangerous places are on the way to school. So this is just another addition to the test that they've been doing, where they put it on first graders to determine, to track them from home to school, to see what's going on, to see what's up. Now they say it's for the safety. We're trying to determine where the bad stuff is happening, so we can keep your kids safe, type of thing. But ultimately, this is again just studying the patterns of life and locking your kids into the net. Ultimately, there's really no other way to put it. Now, according to Giger, whatever. The Bluetooth covers do not store personal data, nor do they create a movement profile for the children. All processed movement data is temporary in nature and can be deleted every day. Now, I've always talked about, because this is always the biggest thing that they put in there. Well, we're not keeping the data for this program here. It gets deleted. Well, the thing is usually when you hear this information, it has to do with they're not keeping it on site. It gets deleted from on site. But that does not mean it's not being stored in an off-site data center as well. They never specify, and they've been caught in this lie more than once. And so I always point it out. Whenever you see something like that, they usually mean we're not keeping your data. But that doesn't mean that they're not keeping it in the data centers, which they continue to add more and more of those. Kind of interesting. If it's all being deleted, why would they need as many data centers as they continue to create? See what I mean? So yeah, don't fall for that one. Whenever you read something like that, don't fall for it. It says, in addition to the first name with the initial letter of the surname, only any incompatibilities in the class in the data system would be recorded. I think it's talking about how it's only going to have the first and the last, and the first name and the last initial, and so it's only going to be recorded with their data system in order so other people can't access it or hack the thing, because it says this data is encrypted on a separate network and not accessible from the internet, which again only adds to the belief of, okay, it's on a separate network. Where is the other end of that network going? Because it ain't just going to your data and or your data collection box and then getting deleted every day. That network is going somewhere else. And so, yeah, just keep that in mind whenever you read stuff like that. They do it as like, oh, see, we're not keeping your data. And then we see all the time data breaches where people are hacking into these other data centers and they're getting information that these companies said that they're not storing. And so it's just a way of lying and getting away with it, because it just makes people feel more secure. But ultimately, the goal here of what they're trying to do is they're just locking kids further into this Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things network that they're locking everybody else into. They want to combine everything into this AI, Internet of Things, and quantum computing network in order to help put this beast system online, which the Antichrist will then use to rule, reign, and produce lying signs and wonders. And so this should come as no surprise that this is getting normalized. I don't know the rules of Switzerland, but if you have the opportunity to homeschool your kids without this electronic bracelet, if anybody from the Swiss area is watching, then try and do your best to make sure that that is the best thing that you can do, or try to make sure that you are trying to do that, because I believe that is the best thing that you can do. You guys know what I'm talking about. My English today is about as good as my translator was on that Swiss website. See, I can't even think of the word website, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today. Just keeping tabs on what's going on. And if you're, doesn't matter if you're in the United States, you're in Canada, Australia, South America, Mexico, Switzerland, Europe, anywhere, just keep track of what these places, these schools are trying to do when it comes to kids, whether it's education material, religious stuff that they're starting to push into these things, into these school systems, things like SEL, indigenous studies, and as well as new age practices. They're starting to do meditation and yoga in school classes now. And watch for the technology as well, because they like to slide it by the parents without even telling them what's going on. So keep tabs of what's going on. Always watch your kids, and yeah, do the best you absolutely can to protect the little ones. I'll tell you what, they are under heavy fire right now from Satan. So, all right, I'm going to leave you guys right here. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Maranatha.